Okay, so we're testing out the new system. It works! Okay, the fifth and final season of Switched at Birth, which somehow this week I actually forgot I was watching, and then realized I still had 3 episodes to go, and I was already in the midst of another series. So I went back and wrapped up the wrap up of the wrapping of the upness of the show. Okay, it ended. It was a planned ending, and for one of many reasons, I'm pretty sure the girls playing the teenagers were becoming middle-aged and almost looking as old as their mothers. This is one of my common... I mean, there's plenty of actresses out there, unless, of course, you want them to do nudity, which means they have to be over 18 when they start the series, even if they're playing 14-year-olds that are getting naked and having sex. But ABC Family, or whatever this is this year, I'm not even sure if it's still, any of these networks have names anymore. They've changed so easily. And they're all virtually the same channel. I mean, anyways, the acting is good. It's, dealt with some very controversial things, and in the past seasons, in a bad way. And I did have a group of friends 27 years ago that it was a group of deaf friends that I knew in Hollywood. And they can be a very tight and exclusive group. I can't say that this is indicative of all deaf Americans or deaf people anywhere, but it was pretty much brought forth as such in the series that they wanted to be exclusive and segregated, and they were happy in their own little world. But then again, they wanted jobs that paid money, and they wanted to be rich and famous, and you can't have the rich and the fame and the thing if you're in an isolated community. You have to be interactive. So there was a lot of issues around this that were actually brought forth, and it may have been part of the plot line to make, they eventually, the characters that were having the issues eventually came back around. And in this season, they had a race issue, which was a non-issue manifestation, and sort of handled it wrong because they kept trying to drag it out to fill, episodes. Race is an issue. I'm a minority. I mean a real minority. When there's less than 5% of the population is identified as your race, yeah, then you're a minority. If you're like 20% of the population or 30% of the population, okay, you're a part of the culture. You're not really a minority anymore. I understand you're not 50%, but that whole thing, especially in a country that's supposed to be inclusive and blending, these issues just let the dog. He was beating that horse so hard that he fell over and crushed the dog. Seriously, let it go already. But anyways, which was actually almost part of the answer, but then there was an incident now that was portrayed as racial, which may or may not have been because there wasn't enough information going. If you'll see, watch the season. You'll have to make your own determination. If you make it as objectively and you witness this event occur, which you will see in the show, and a specific single individual and police issue, then you have to determine, was it racial, or was it, you have to deal with the assumption of guilt, because that's what cops do. Cops deal with the assumption of guilt until evidence proves otherwise. Courts deal with the assumption of guilt, period. And occasionally a jury will see through the bupkis. But that's a whole nother issue, which probably may not have been on a show of this nature. This show probably might have been overreaching a little bit, but they didn't overflavor the soup like I recently used on a similar parallel show dealing with issues affecting smaller percentages of the population, still a large percentage altogether. I mean, 5 to 10% depending upon these numbers, but that's a significant portion of the population, as is the deaf community. Anyways, the point being, it's a good show, it's worth watching, it's well written generally, and they do try to present multiple aspects of each story and event, and including several seasons ago when they dealt with rape as an issue. So it's got a lot of different things. It's definitely, I would say, not for the under 12. I think 12 and up should be able to watch this show. That's my opinion. Everyone's beliefs are different, but not everyone grew up like I did and seeing and experiencing the things I did. So that's it.